Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Bite-Sized Thursday, a subsidiary of Slate Media. I'm Jared, this is Jake, and we're watching through Star Wars Visions. And we are in Season 2 now, the third episode of the season, which is titled In the Stars, animated by Punk Robot, a studio out of Chile. And, I don't know much about them other than they animated Bear Story, a short, back in 2014, and they won the Oscar for it. That is about the only thing I really know about the studio. That was about 10 years ago, so been around for a while. Don't know anything about this episode.
We don't know anything about any of them.
I mean,
typically.
last week we did.
Wow. Okay, Cartoon Saloon, I guess, but
yeah, if it's a studio we've heard of, or if we look up what they've done and we recognize stuff, that's usually when we can be like, hey, yeah, okay. And then this one, it's like, yeah, I know of Bear Story. If you want a story about Bear Story, I didn't pick it to win that year. Couldn't tell you what it was, but I remember it won, and my friend who got 4 right that year, that was one of his only 4 that he got right, and the only one he got right that I didn't, and he let it be known to me. It's pretty funny. He sat right there, they announced Bear Story, and he went, ah! Pointing at me. I'm like, oh, good, you're now at 2 right.
That is pretty funny.
It was.
Gonna lie.
I was mad at myself. I'm like, why didn't I pick that?
I have reasons. Do you want me to give them to you?
No.
Okay, good.
Anyway, anything else to say before we jump in?
Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah. In the Star Wars, the episode should have been called.
In the Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, let's watch it.
And
take a bite. Welcome back. We just watched In the Stars, and that's really cool looking.
Yeah. That's not something we get a lot of. Stop motion animation.
Yeah, anywhere.
Star Wars.
Yeah, anything. It's better than it was in terms of how many studios are putting out mainstream stuff, but stop motion is underappreciated.
Leica is probably
that's the one. Yeah, it's
got
to be
primary one now.
Yeah,
They have a movie
Aardman. Aardman has been around for a while. But
that's true. But
those are the 2 big ones now. Which I think there's an Aardman one coming up. I think they did one in this season.
Definitely a Leica one coming out next year.
Is that Wildwood?
Yeah.
Are they the ones doing Wildwood? Okay. Leica's one of those. They
revealed what Prue is going to look like.
Gotcha.
With Coraline, and Coraline's getting released in theaters.
The re-release, at the time of recording.
At the time of recording for its 15th anniversary, I'm excited about that.
But stop motion in general is an underappreciated part of a medium that's already underappreciated.
Oh yes,
so it's funny, double underappreciated.
I hated stop motion animation when I was a child. It unnerved the heck out of me.
I know a lot of people who feel the same way,
but I love it now.
Fair. Yeah, was it? Was there a change, or was it when we worked through DreamWorks and watched a couple? Did that help it, or?
Oh, dude, I've been loving stop motion animation since a couple years before.
Okay.
Coraline.
So since your college days. I almost
called her Caroline.
So your college
well done,
days.
Yeah, Caroline.
So what was it in college that made you flip?
I'm going to give you 3 guesses.
3 guesses. Is it one of the Wallace and Gromit shorts?
No. Oh, you're asking what piece?
Yeah. What was the turning point before Coraline?
Probably, I know it didn't come out when I was in college, but probably Nightmare Before Christmas, watching that, because I was never allowed to watch it as a kid. Yep. That Corpse Bride helped. Tim Burton, really. But do you know who inspired me to watch those things?
Drew.
Yeah!
Friend of the podcast, Drew.
We haven't seen him in a while, man. We got to get him back on here.
We should. As for this episode, I was looking over people's reactions online to it, and man, people are stupid.
Why?
Pretty basic story. Yeah, it's 15 minutes.
And the last one was 12 minutes.
And some of them were like, the animation was weird looking, and it's like, no, it wasn't. Don't leave your house.
I will say that I wasn't as much of a fan of the character design.
I thought it was cool. They were also commenting on the voice acting in some of the things I was reading. And
that's a dumb thing.
And I was like, well, I'm guessing they're Chilean voice actors not speaking their main language, I'm guessing. So they're speaking a second language. I don't fault them that hard for if they're struggling to speak a language that is not their own. Like, that's more work than probably most of them online are doing.
I don't know that it's that, because a lot of these have been in their country's original language and then dubbed over with English.
Yeah, this one doesn't have anyone else other than the officer, the officer at the Empire officer, whatever you call him, has two different voice actors. So they might have, but also it's the same voice actor doing both dubs.
I don't know then. Yeah, I mean,
but I don't fault them for that.
No,
they speak more languages than me.
Why would you? Yeah,
I speak one. And barely that.
Yeah. No, why would you fault them for that? And going back to what I said about the character design, it's not like it bothered me that much. It's just like kind of not my style.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff. The water effect was cool. I always love water in stop motion.
Water and food.
Yep.
That's a meme from Abed and Community. The way food looks in stop motion animation, but it's true.
And then I think we both agree the coolest part was the painting on the rocks.
Oh yeah, I love that.
You at one point said, "Wow, that's a real nonchalant way to explain that your race was wiped out."
That's a real nonchalant way to explain genocide.
Yeah, which I thought for a second they were gonna get murked at the end. Like, I was like, "This is a short." They could easily just do it and like cut away, so it doesn't show.
I thought it was going to be like somehow their mother that was in command of this base. Again, stupid American media brain.
Yep. I didn't think that at all, because I was like, none of these have been doing that. But again, once you said it, I was like, I hope they don't do that. And it's because no one stays dead anymore.
Sorry.
But
I am surprised. The first 2 episodes of this have been very concentrated on this season have been concentrated on people becoming Sith. So I was wondering if that was going to be like a...
Well, the first episode, they weren't becoming Sith. They were ex-Sith.
Yeah, and then the Cartoon Saloon one was...
Becoming... That was more of a...
dark side sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's...
I don't really know how to explain that.
Yeah, I think the first season is focusing on Jedi, and then this one is focusing on Sith because, everything's red.
Yeah, well, this
the
one
titles,
didn't.
The posters red.
This one didn't.
But this one didn't, yeah.
Interesting.
I like when Star Wars, we've mentioned it before, I like when Star Wars doesn't focus on either, and I like how they are Force wielders because their race, they have, they're implying that their race is very Force sensitive.
Oh, I'm guessing that if you were to go into, quote, the show Bible of this short or whatever it is, the Empire started mining there because of kyber crystals.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, it looked like they were mostly just getting the water and then the resources. Just, they're there to get the resources and just kill this world and, deplete it of everything. And, again, it's a simple story. Yes.
It's 15 minutes.
It's 15 minutes, and it's a showcase for the animation. That's what most of these are. Can we tell a quick, simple story?
I like how a lot of these have had a couple of different types of anime, including the first season too, because we're only 3 episodes in the second season.
But all 3 vastly different styles.
Well, vastly different, but also incorporating additional forms of animation into a single episode. Because that whole rock sequence, it's a little bit like what happens in the dream sequence in Prince of Egypt.
Yeah, or like...
It's maybe not that much of a turn, but...
Or like Maui's tattoos in Moana.
Yeah.
Or how like Treasure Planet has like 3 different animation styles in one shot. And again, it looks so good outside of one shot in that movie.
Do you think that that's the movie that really, really made you love animation as much as you do?
No, that would be Hunchback.
That's fair.
But it is up there. And the blending animation styles is always cool. And technically, most stop motion does that now, like the big budget ones, because a lot of the backgrounds are computer generated. Like they make them, but it's like they have a green screen behind what's in the foreground with the characters and like the props
so they
right
film
there.
it like they do live action things.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like in the old days, and maybe not super old, but like 80s, 90s, a lot of stop motion stuff, everything is created. But then, like, I was watching like a shot from Missing Link where they're on the elephant, and like off in the distance, there's in the distance, and the shot is just green screen, and they showed how they layered in the fortress or castle or whatever in the distance.
Yeah, well, because a lot of that in the distance looks pretty flat. Like it kind of looks like a storybook
which is cool.
I think that's how it's intended to be. So yes, they green screened it, but like computer generated, I don't think.
You know what I mean? I
don't think any more than any other animation is at this point.
Yeah, I was just saying, like that is the norm to do, and they blend it really well because it's just like paintings in the old days. For in the background, it's like I've always liked painted backgrounds. Some people hate it because they say it's fake. So look at like the opening shots of Mary Poppins with London. That's painted onto the lens.
That sounds cool.
It's like there's one spot where she's supposed to be that is not, and then everything around her is like painted directly on. They have to like
what happened to when people had like cool innovations?
I know.
I think we're getting back around to that. I think it's coming back around because everybody's getting sick of
the same old.
Yeah.
You saw Barbie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like how the transitions between the two worlds, it's like the actual sets, and they're clearly fake things, but because of the way it's filmed where it's flat, it just has this cool aesthetic to it. And like they don't move, but the set moves with around them. Like that's just cool. I'm glad that stuff is making a comeback because people are realizing, hey, all this CGI stuff doesn't look great. I don't want this to look like super realistic all the time. Sometimes I want it to look stylized. I want this to be a movie.
Lion King.
Anyway,
it wouldn't have been that hard to make it. Never mind.
Yeah. Anything else about In the Stars?
That was a real nonchalant way.
Bit, yeah.
Man, I can't get over it.
Yeah.
I forgot about it during the episode, and then you brought it back up, and I was like, yeah. No, I liked it. There was a really cool shot in the beginning where she's trying to catch the first TIE fighter, where you can kind of see how small the model is compared to the world around it.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. It's a cool looking one. I'm really liking this season so far. And yeah, just have to see if
I do feel like the first season was very anime heavy.
Yeah, a lot of Japanese studios, and then this one so far we have Chile, we have Ireland, and then I forgot the first one's studio already. I think it was Spain. So we're going around the world now, more than just one area, and that's cool.
It won't even take 80 days.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway,
that's all right. I got.
So, if you want to hear more of our thoughts on Visions or check out other series that we've done now and in the past, Jake, where can they find us?
Well, I mean, you can find us right here every Tuesday and Thursday. On Tuesdays, we're going through the MCU. If you want to check us out outside of the podcast, we're on Facebook, the X,
formerly known as Twitter,
Instagram, or ever funny TikTok. If you just want to check out the podcast, you can check us out on all major podcasting platforms, including Apple, Spotify, Google. Leave a rating and review if you can. It really helps us out. Or you can come right back to our YouTube, see our smiling faces. Hit that subscribe button, that like, and sorry, my brain just went out. You can come back to our YouTube, see our smiling faces. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, ring the bell. Make sure you get notified when we upload new content. And then come on back next week. And Jared, what are we going to be watching next week?
Next week's episode is I Am Your Mother. This is the Aardman one. So, okay, it is next week. And Aardman,
they got some
animated
big
one.
studios to do this, didn't they?
Yeah, so
I
I'm
mean,
excited.
it's Disney, so.
Yeah, but that's next week. So,
until then,
take a bite.